It begins right now, the final 48 hours before an event that will become the boundary between the past and a new stage. On September 21, something will happen that occurs once in several decades. A new moon, a solar eclipse, the equinox, 3 cosmic events in one day, within one 24-hour period, in a single moment in time. This is not just a rarity, it is a cosmic synchronicity of such power that the next 6 months of your life will be shaped by the energy of this day. And you have 48 hours left to prepare, not just to wait, but to prepare. Because the difference between those who enter the portal ready and those who merely find themselves in its energy by chance will be colossal. Imagine an ocean wave, enormous, powerful, inevitable. It is coming. You can stand with your back to it and be knocked down. You can fear it, resist it, and be broken. Or you can prepare a surfboard, ride the wave, harness its power, and let it carry you to places you could never have reached on your own. The new moon is a moment of reset, a clean slate when the old story ends and the new one begins to breathe. It is a time when the moon seems to die and is immediately reborn, reminding us that every ending carries the seed of a beginning. But this new moon is special. It coincides with an eclipse when the sun, the source of life and light, is briefly hidden in shadow. And it is this darkness that becomes the condition for the birth of a renewed light, purer, stronger. And all this happens on the day of the equinox, at that very moment when light and darkness meet in a point of perfect balance, when day equals night, and nature seems to pause in a quiet inhale, preparing to shift into a new cycle. This is a pause before movement, a point of balance from which change begins. 3 events, 3 portals, 3 keys to inner transformation, and they open simultaneously. It is as if 3 paths leading to different dimensions suddenly align into a single line, forming a unified passage into a new reality that has not yet existed in your life. The energy is already building. It is felt in the air as a subtle vibration, impossible to ignore. Dreams become brighter, more vivid, as if carrying messages. Emotions gain intensity, harder to restrain. This is not a trick of the imagination. This is your energetic system, sensing the approach of the portal and beginning to recalibrate, preparing the ground for the upcoming renewal. On September 19, exactly at the start of these decisive 48 hours, Venus enters Virgo. This cannot be called a mere coincidence. It is a cosmic synchronicity, emphasizing the significance of the moment. Venus in Virgo brings the energy of sacred preparation. It is as if it directs a spotlight onto the details, making them important. What once seemed insignificant suddenly reveals hidden power. Venus whispers, "The magic of the eclipse is hidden in the details. Prepare correctly, and the energy will work for you. Neglect the details, and part of the power will slip away." This Venus will remain until October 13, but it is right now, in these final hours before the eclipse, that she becomes your guide. She teaches practical magic, not abstract rituals, but concrete steps that open the portal specifically for you. In these 2 days before the eclipse, the space seems to thicken, like before a storm. The air becomes dense, charged with electricity. But this is no ordinary storm, it is an energetic one, and the culmination of its discharge will be the eclipse. Eclipses have always been considered moments of fateful change. Ancient priests and rulers feared them, knowing that after an eclipse, the world would never be the same. Modern astrologers call them cosmic resets. And this eclipse is special. It combines the new moon, which brings a double reset, and the equinox, when a perfect balance is born for a new cycle. In these final 48 hours, the veil between worlds becomes thinner. What is usually hidden comes to the surface. Your true desires begin to speak louder. Fears become more tangible, but alongside them, a strength you may not have even suspected awakens. Time behaves differently. Minutes drag like hours, and hours pass in an instant. This eclipse seems to bend the fabric of time, bringing the past, present, and future closer together. Every action you take in these hours will echo in the next 6 months, setting their direction. Dreams take on a prophetic nature, especially those that come in the night from the 19th to the 20th and from the 20th to the 21st. Write them down. They contain messages about what the coming eclipse is preparing for you. Do not try to find their exact meaning right away. It will reveal itself after the energy of the eclipse manifests. The first step in preparing for the eclipse is letting go. The eclipse works like a cosmic eraser. It wipes away old programs, but only if you are ready to release them. On the evening of the 19th, when Venus has already entered Virgo, find time for symbolic liberation. No complex rituals are needed. Venus in Virgo values simplicity and practicality. Take an ordinary piece of paper and write on it not what you want to get rid of directly, but what you are grateful for, yet what should no longer accompany you into the new cycle. The eclipse will carry it into the shadow and not bring it back if you let go with gratitude, not struggle. Struggle creates attachment. Gratitude liberates. What to do with the paper? Venus in Virgo suggests return it to the earth. You can burn it and give the ashes to the soil. You can tear it up and bury it. You can dissolve it in water and pour it under a tree. The main thing is to return to the earth what should no longer be part of you. Do this before the eclipse, while the portal is not yet fully open. The second sacred action is cleansing your space to welcome the new energy. On the morning of September 20, a day before the eclipse, start with physical order. Venus in Virgo reminds us, order outside creates order within. But this is not a deep clean. It is preparing your space for the arrival of new energy. Remove broken things. They hold the energy of destruction. Let go of items you haven't used in a year. They are energetic ballast. Pay special attention to windows. The renewed light will enter through them after the eclipse, and they must be clean. But the main cleansing must also touch you. On the evening of the 20th, take a shower or bath with the intention of washing away old energy. Let the water carry away everything unnecessary, others' opinions, imposed programs, adopted fears. Salt will enhance the process. Sea salt in the bath or a body scrub will cleanse your field and create protection. This way, you will enter the portal clean, both physically and energetically. After cleansing, do not immediately turn on your phone, TV, or social media. Give yourself at least an hour of silence. It is in this silence that you can hear how the energy of the eclipse is already beginning to take effect. After cleansing comes the most important part, forming an intention for the eclipse. An eclipse without intention remains merely a rare cosmic event. But an eclipse with intention becomes a personal revolution, capable of changing the trajectory of your life. The third sacred action takes place in the night from September 20 to 21, in the final hours before the eclipse, when the energy reaches its highest intensity. At this moment, your word and your thought gain special power. Venus in Virgo demands specificity. Vague wishes won't work here. Clear and precise intentions are needed, but there is an important nuance. The eclipse does not support pettiness. It works with fateful cycles, with what changes the very essence. Therefore, the intention must be specific in its wording but grand in its impact. Write 3 intentions, exactly 3, the number of completion and new beginnings. First, what you leave forever in the shadow of the eclipse. Second, what you call into your life. Third, who you become after passing through this portal. Wording matters. Not, I want money, but I open myself to abundance. Not, I want love, but I become love. The eclipse works with energies, not forms. Give it direction, and it will choose the best form of manifestation for you, often one you hadn't even considered. Place the written intentions under your pillow on the night of the eclipse, or carry them with you all day on the 21st. These words will become a spell, programming your reality for the next 6 months until the next eclipse. While the mind works on intentions, the body undergoes its own preparation, which can be quite intense. In the 48 hours before the eclipse, many feel a strange fatigue. This is not ordinary tiredness from daily tasks, but the result of an energetic recalibration. The body draws energy from external activity and directs it inward to prepare for the coming transformation. Trust this process. If your body asks for rest, give it rest. The body knows what it is doing and acts wiser than it may seem. If the physical body prepares through its symptoms, the emotional body prepares through waves of feelings. These waves may come without apparent reason and leave just as suddenly, like the breath of the sea. A day before the eclipse, you may suddenly cry. Tears flow, but the reason is unclear. This is not weakness. It is the emotional body's way of releasing accumulated tension before entering the portal. Each tear becomes a drop of old pain that leaves, making room for new joy. Venus in Virgo quietly reminds you, let it flow naturally. True practicality sometimes lies in allowing the process to complete. The opposite may also occur, an inexplicable joy. A wave of happiness comes unexpectedly. You may feel like singing, laughing, or dancing. This is the soul sensing the freedom the eclipse will bring in advance. It celebrates early, and there's no need to stop it. Such joy becomes a magnet for positive change. Sometimes, irritability arises. Small things seem to drive you crazy, and people around you become unbearable. But this is not a sign that you've changed for the worse. It is a signal that your energetic field has become more sensitive, picking up the slightest distortions. After the eclipse, this sensitivity will turn into a gift of discernment. But for now, it feels like an exposed nerve. It's important not to suppress these waves, but also not to identify with them. Observe them as if from the outside. You are not a single wave. You are the entire ocean through which these waves move. And it is the eclipse that will calm the storm, restoring your deep balance. Now, about what is especially important to consider in the final 48 hours before the eclipse. There are actions to avoid. Do not start anything new on September 19 or 20. This is not the time for launches or first steps. Anything begun on these days will be as if swallowed by the shadow of the eclipse and lose its strength. But after the eclipse, the energy will again support new beginnings. Do not make promises. In these days, every word becomes significant, and a promise turns into a kind of karmic contract. If you fail to keep it, the consequences may be heavy. Venus in Virgo advises, better to be restrained in words than to say something that will later bind you. Avoid conflicts. A quarrel that occurs before the eclipse may cast an energetic shadow for months. The eclipse amplifies everything, and negativity is no exception. If someone provokes you, walk away. If you cannot leave physically, leave emotionally. Do not engage in an energy exchange through argument. And most importantly, do not try to control everything. The power of the eclipse is greater than human will. Attempting to manage this process only leads to resistance and inner pain. Trust the flow. Let the energies guide you. The eclipse knows its purpose, even if its logic is still hidden from you. In the final hours before the eclipse, the sensation intensifies, as if the universe itself begins to speak to you directly, not in images or metaphors, but in signs so clear that you cannot miss them if you are attentive enough. Sometimes your gaze falls on a clock, and the numbers form a mirrored pattern. It's like a reminder that everything is happening for a reason, in a certain rhythm. Such moments serve as gentle confirmation. You are in the flow of a cosmic process, and the eclipse is already interacting with your field, preparing you for the transition. Animals also react especially keenly. Birds fly closer than usual. Cats become either overly affectionate or conversely, hide, and dogs may howl for no apparent reason. Their instincts sense what humans feel only as inner tension. If a pet clings to you on September 19 or 20, it seeks protection in your presence. If it avoids you, it senses the power of your transformation. Random words suddenly take on special meaning. You think of something, and immediately hear an answer in a song, a conversation, or even a line in an advertisement. Venus in Virgo makes these messages practical and concrete, not abstract symbols, but direct hints worth hearing. Even objects begin to participate in this process. Something important may break, signaling that the energy tied to that object should no longer be part of your life, or a lost item may suddenly reappear at just the right moment, as if its energy is needed again in the new cycle. The evening of September 20 becomes the culmination of all preparation. Less than 12 hours remain until the eclipse, and the energy reaches its peak. In these hours, it is especially important to create a sacred space. No elaborate altar is needed. Venus in Virgo values simplicity. Light a candle, place a glass of clean water nearby, and put your written intention beside it. The candle symbolizes fire and transformation, the water represents emotions and intuition, and the written intention becomes your contract with the energy of the eclipse. Light the candle at sunset on the 20th. Let it burn until you extinguish it before sleep. This flame will be a beacon, a sign that you are here, ready and open to change. Those who have prepared will receive from the eclipse what cannot be obtained in any other way, a true reset of fate. The eclipse on September 21 promises the completion of everything that has lingered for years. Unfinished stories, toxic connections, and outdated situations will all go into the shadow and not return. But only if you have walked the path of preparation, released with gratitude, cleansed your space, and formed intentions. The new moon during the eclipse is a double new start. An ordinary new moon opens a month for realizing desires. A new moon in an eclipse gives you 6 months. Everything laid down on the 21st will grow and strengthen until spring 2026. This is no longer just a desire, it is a program that will shape half a year of your life. The equinox adds balance. After the chaos of change comes harmony. Internal conflicts that have dragged on for years resolve. The oscillation between should and want subsides, giving way to a golden mean, a state of strength and stability. After the eclipse, many will notice that old fears have simply disappeared, not overcome, but dissolved, as if they never existed. This is the power of the eclipse's shadow. It carries away inner shadows along with it. Others will gain astonishing clarity of path. After months of indecision, it will suddenly become obvious where to go, not because someone pointed the way, but because the knowledge awakened within. Relationships will also be tested. True connections will strengthen, while illusions will dissolve without drama. Like fog under the morning Sunday, you will see others without masks and show your true self. For some, this will be an end. For others, a beginning. Less than 48 hours remain. Time is running out, and the eclipse is approaching, whether you are ready or not. But now you know what to do. Meet the eclipse openly, not with fear, but with anticipation, not in resistance, but in trust. Venus in Virgo whispers, "The devil is in the details, but so are the angels." Do everything right in these 2 days, and the next 6 months will be a time when the energy works for you.